Hello, hello, hello. So, welcome back. I got a new product. Kind of excited. Let's get right to it. Check it out. It's made by Sharpie. How about that? Sharpie has always had permanent markers, paint markers, all kinds of stuff. These are acrylic paint pens. They come in a brush tip and a bold tip or a bullet point tip. These are a bullet point tip and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 color pack. So this is the smaller pack of the two sizes you can get of the various colors. I wanted to test these out and I opened them because I wanted to make sure whether I had to prime them or not, like the Poscas. You don't have to prime these. The tip on these, let's pull them out here. Move the package aside. The tip on these feels like a felt tip marker. If you can see that tip, it is a bullet point. It's not like the tips of the Poscas. You don't have to prime them. You don't have to do anything to them. They go on the paper like a felt tip marker would. So if that is a good explanation for you. So let's test some of these out. We'll first do dark paper, then we'll do it on light paper with some colored pencil. So I'm just gonna write out the color names here. The first one is green. And you can see I'm not writing slowly. It's a nice pastel green and it went on evenly and very smoothly. So now we have purple, my least favorite color, but I know many people like the color purple. And it does show up on black fairly well. So now we have yellow. Wow, that's a bright on the black. And we have the blue. It's a deep royal blue. It's a very pretty blue. Now, let's do this last one, red. Then I'll point out something. That red is very different. It's not in your face Christmas red like the package, but it's red. So on the package here, when I flip it over, it states that these will work on paper, metal, wood, ceramic, glass, rock, and canvas. I would guess that if you use these on plastic, which of course you can, but it will probably peel off the plastic. So keep that in mind. Now those colors really show up on this dark paper. So that's a plus right there. They're very opaque. They have smooth, even ink flow, which is nice. But in order to build up texture, you would have to do multiple layers and learn some different techniques to do that by blotting and tapping, and they work quite differently than the Posca brand. So I'm gonna put this black paper aside. Let's grab a colored pencil here. And I'm gonna start with green. So I'm going to grab my dark green, if I can find it in my mess here, which is this one. I'm gonna do my dark green. I'm gonna do one of these leaves here. And I'm gonna use the green with this. Once I get this filled in, we're gonna go over it and see how they perform over the Prismacolor colored pencils. Because we know Prismacolor has a pretty soft core. So they have a really, really pliable wax core, which as most colored pencils are wax. I know people say, oh, those are oil pencils, those are wax pencils. Well, you know, all colored pencils contain both. Wax is a byproduct of oil, unless it's, of course, beeswax. We won't get into that. That's a whole nother ball of worms. Anyways, little pet peeves of mine. Okay, I'm gonna take my grass green. I'm using light colors in this just for the sake of the paint pen. I'm gonna blend this up. Notice I'm leaving my edge white there, because I'm gonna add one final color. Okay, now I am going to grab my apple green, and I'm gonna do that edge. I'll move my big fat hand here in a second. I don't have my glasses on, so forgive me if I get a little sloppy. Something to look forward to as you get older. Everything starts falling apart. Okay. I know a lot of you don't know that, but I'll be 50 this year. Yay me. I shouldn't have said that. I like to keep my age a secret, but yes, I'm no spring chicken. Okay, now I've got my green paint pen here, and I'm just gonna use that center line where the vein in the leaf is, and I'm gonna draw a quick little line there. It seems to look good. It goes over smoothly. I don't see any of that, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, when you draw in plastic with a marker, the marker just dissipates on the plastic and creates a puddle. I don't see any of the breakup of the color like that. It went on very well. No issues with it at all. So that's nice. Now, let's do this little center piece here. I'm going to grab my henna. I'm gonna do a shadow here with my henna. And we'll apply some center bits to this and see how it stands out with that yellow. And I don't have a black in this set. I think there was a black and white in the larger set, if these interest you. So you may want to look into those. Now I'm going to take my 1002. I'm gonna blend that henna with the 1002. It gives it a nice shade on that edge there with the henna as I blend my 1002 out. So you can see I still have that nice deep edge, which gives it a nice shadow. So as I'm looking down into the flower. Go around my edge. Let me grab my yellow, which I'm gonna use 1011 for my yellow. And I'm gonna fill in that last little area of white on the paper where that white paper is showing through. Just gonna blend that really good. These aren't perfect. I think I wanna put a little more dark in there because I want you to see the yellow come off the page when I apply it. So I'm gonna grab my 1033 and I'm just gonna give it a little more contrast here so it shows up on camera better. I want you to be able to see that. And I know sometimes it's hard, but you can still zoom in, do the little open and close motion, the pinching with your fingers, and you can zoom in on the videos. I was surprised how many people didn't know you could do that. But I'm glad I helped. I'm glad I at least taught you guys something, whether it's just the little trick with the YouTube videos. Okay, now I've got my yellow. I'm gonna go in here where the darkest part is. I'm just gonna put a couple little dots. And if you zoom in, which you're gonna have to, you can actually see those little yellow dots there, which since I don't have a black one, I'm gonna use blue. So let's pretend this is black, but it'll probably look okay. So I'm just gonna kind of go in between some of those little yellow dots and do a couple little dots. So you can really see that come up off the paper. These all in all, they're not bad. It's very different than the Posca. They go on differently, they feel differently, but they are useful. And again, these come in brush tip and bullet tip, and these are the bullet tip. So depending on what you're going to use them for will determine your brush style. I'm not a painter. I use these for highlights and whatnots on my pictures, so the bullet tip is what I prefer. Now, let's do something a little different here. Let's do a pink petal. How about that? I'm gonna grab my 195. I'm gonna do a pink petal, and we're gonna work in a different color here with the paint pen to see what we get with this pink. Okay. Get my deeper shade down here at the base. And I'll do 3 colors here. Boy, I really need my glasses. Okay, now I'm gonna grab, let's go with 993 for my next color. I'm gonna blend this just with the edge of that like I always do. Small circles, light pressure. I'm gonna come around this edge here. And I'm gonna leave the very tip for my final color. Okay, so that's that color, and then I'm going to use my 1014 for that last little bit here at the top. And you can always tell how hard I'm pressing by how long my tips are. I'm not pressing hard at all to get the results I'm getting. I'm taking that light pink down over that dark pink and kind of mixing those colors. You can see that sharp contrast line that I have there, which is what you really don't want when you're blending, but again, I do not have my freaking glasses next to me. Okay, so there we have that. Now, let's take purple, my least favorite color. And I'm just gonna add some little flecks on here. So you can see how it really stands up off the page. These are not bad markers at all. For acrylic paint markers, which I have to get in the habit of saying marker, because they are quite different than a paint pen. So if I take this purple and just fill in, you can see I can do it really quickly with the marker, as it has more of a felt tip feel. And Poscas have a stiffer tip. So there's the purple. Let's do the red over here. We have the red. Now the red really looks more red on this white paper, whereas it looked a little more on the pastel red side when I applied it to the black paper. So there's the red. Let's see what the green looks like. Let's do this green here. The green still puts off a pastel feel instead of more of a grass green feel. But it's still a pretty color. So you can definitely see the difference there. Now it should be dry. Yeah, they dry pretty quick. It's a little tacky, but it's dry for the most part. Faster than the Poscas do, that's for sure. We could put a couple little dots. So you can build up your layers, your textures. Let's take the blue. We'll do a quick little line here with the blue. I'm working with limited colors, so bear with me on that. I'm gonna take my yellow. And I'm gonna let that dry for a second. I'm gonna take my colored pencil and see if I can go over some of these painted areas with the colored pencil and what that feels like versus Posca. Because I know when you go over Posca, once it's dried with a colored pencil, sometimes it'll chip away that Posca. And these, again, are more of a liquidy marker type acrylic. It's thinner. So the paint is thinner, so it goes on thinner. And it saturates the paper more than the Posca paints do. The Posca paints, you can get texture really easily with them by applying it and then kind of tapping it down, applying some more, tapping it down. And you can work it off your paper by that embossing tool or by using the tip of your sharp colored pencil. So let's grab my dark red here. Actually, I'm gonna go with Tuscan just to try to make it show up off the paper. Let's see if I can go over this paint pen. And it seems to go over it rather easily without any, I'm not getting any chipping of the paint when I put the colored pencil to it. I'll apply a little more pressure here underneath. I'm still not getting any chipping off of the paint. So that's really good. That's different. So it gives you another level of creating depth and dimension if you want to use the Sharpie paint pens with your colored pencils. They clearly work well with Prismacolors. I'm not seeing an issue here. Let's grab my black and we'll hit that purple one. We'll just go around the edges here with some black over that purple and see what happens. I'm careful to go around those little yellow dots I created. Again, same thing. I'm able to brush in some lines and technique here without chipping off that paint. And it still looks purple, but you could definitely see I put darker shade over the purple. You'll have to zoom in to really see it, but I'm not getting any paint chipping like I said before, like I would with the Posca. About that pink one, let's try 1030. We'll go around this here with 1030. Let's put some shading there. Oh, I forgot I didn't really use any paint on this one except for the dots, but still looks cool. Okay. About that green. Let's grab a dark green. How about, where is my 109? Wow, I'm almost ready for a new one. It's pretty little. Okay, I'll put a little bit over here just so you can see. Yeah, it's certainly not flaking away at all. So you can build color over these paint markers fairly easy without damaging the paint. It still seems to be there. So if you want to use these to lay a base color for some of your images, these would be a good choice. And I'm going right over that blue with this green colored pencil, and it's not at all chipping off. I suppose it would over time if you keep blending over it, but for the most part, this single layer that I've put on, it's not done any damage. Pretty cool in my opinion. These are definitely different. They are a new pen by Sharpie, and Sharpie always seems to have really good products. I wasn't really sure about the felt tip feel of the paint marker because, again, I'm used to the Poscas, but they're different and I like them. They could be used for different applications and all kinds of arts and crafts, and they really add some nice color to your coloring pages. Oh, I was going to flip that over and see the back. Yeah, we don't have any bleed through. Nothing from those paint markers came through. So this is it right here. Nothing. That's another bonus. Anyways, this was just a quick little, hey, check these out. I will put the link for the small and large set in the description because I know they are now available on Amazon. And once again, here it is on the dark paper with my sloppy handwriting. And as you can see, the little flower we did with the different techniques, going over the paint and then using the paint over the pencils. I didn't seem to have any issues. They went on smoothly. No issues with laying down color. The color was very consistent and bright. So all in all, I have to give them my highest rating. I recommend these if you like to use acrylic paint pens in your artwork. Grab yourself a set. They run about $10 for the small set, and I think it's around $19 for the large set. All right, you guys, as always, happy creating and have a great night.